Welcome to patch 1.3. My name's Swifty, and you found one of the best resources to help your rank journey. We focus on data and the results of all the hard work the community has put in thus far. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification to keep up to date on the latest patch changes. Now, first up in the off lane, we have our featured champion, Grux. With the addition of some of the new items, this champion has had an explosion in success, sporting a whopping 56% win rate in Platinum and Gold, with a 53% win rate average across all levels. You'll find him topping the list in multiple roles, so you'll want to prioritize him early due to his 39% pick rate. His core build now consists of two new items, Rapture and Tyranny. Both items focus on boosting his auto attacks while trying to reduce the cooldown of his oppressive abilities. You'll also be looking to pick up Basilisk and Salvation, which are not new to most Grux players. Moving on to the tier list, you'll see there's been a little shuffle, but some names remain untouched. In our last video, we went into depth as to why Crunch was deserving of an S tier. His data remains mostly the same, with some slight leveling. He's aggressive and oppressive, but remember, the devs have shifted some of his damage, so practice stringing together abilities and autos to maximize his combos. Our big call out is Feng Mao. With his buffs to his auto attacks and his hamstring, he has found more success in his baseline damage potency in the solo lane. This, combined with some synergy with Sonic Echo, has seen him elevate to a 52% win rate, becoming quite viable. Yin remains in a good place, as well as Greystone. Now, Shinbi has begun to falter at lower ranks, statistically, but still remains quite high on the list due to her success found in the upper divisions of Diamond and Paragon. We believe she's still quite strong, but matchups and comfortability on champion should determine whether or not you take her for a spin. Last mention is Sevron. Although he still remains a safe pick regarding his ability to avoid dying, statistically he started to fall behind the pack. With a win rate under 50% at most, if not all levels, we believe it's a reaction to the item changes put into the environment. We don't want to overreact and drop Sevarog straight to weak tier, but he would be justified in being there. Next up, we have the featured champion Greystone. With a 62% win rate in Paragon and a 55% win rate in Gold, he is the perfect carry champion to climb in the jungle role. Greystone is another champion that has begun to lean on some of the new items as of late. With Lucky Feather and Rupture appearing in hundreds of builds throughout hundreds of matches, we found it important to note with Lucky Feather granting more gold on camps and the risk of death being mitigated by Greystone's ult, it seems he's able to really lean into that profiteer perk. His core build includes Rupture, Basilisk, Gaia Greaves, and upon selling the Feather, you'll be rocking Earthshaker. Moving on to the main list, you'll see some repeat visitors in Grux, Kai, and Crunch, all of which are well above the 50% win rate. They all play very aggressive and are good at pursuit and destroy playstyles when ganking in lane. In the next tier down, you'll find more champions that are winning at a 50% or higher throughout multiple ranks. Rampage has elevated due to his continued success in the higher brackets, while Zarus has fallen to average. He has proven to be capable of a 51% win rate in the Heart of Gold, but as you climb, his win rate falls to a bad 48%. And when you delve down to the depths of Silver and Bronze, his win rate doesn't get any better, being at 36%. Yin stats have settled, and the community has finally gotten the hang of her playstyle, and the results are stunning. Diamond and Paragon players are winning 60+% of their matches, and the rest of the bracket seem to be hovering in the 51% range. Aurora is another champion that is elevated due to new cards being introduced in patch 1.3. A lot of junglers seem to be using Quantum Core and Teleblink to initiate ganks, which further increases her mobility, making her stun happy kit more oppressive. We were split in whether we should add her to A tier or B tier, and there are arguments for both. For now, consider her A tier if you're not new to the champion, and if you feel you're new to piloting her or you want to try her out, maybe practice in some normal matches before bringing her into rank. Moving on to the mid, we are featuring the stun happy dwarf Argus. With Belica having noticeable woes at all levels, it's not surprising that the offensive mage with the ability to stun started filling the void. It seems the patch succeeded in making him more present on map as his games progressed. By decreasing the mana cost on his Particle Shredder, we have noticed the need to back has decreased as well. Rocking a 60% win rate in Diamond lobbies and holding a 50% win rate average, Argus has proven to be quite a good pick for seasoned players, but can be a little tricky for newer ones. His core build includes common mage items started with Alchemical Rod, build Wraith Leggings, Tainted Scepter, finish Azure Core, and round it out with Caustica. Looking at the mid lane tier list, you'll notice Gideon has been adjusted out of play. With all his nerfs, he's fallen out of mainstream play, with some one tricks holding on to him out of habit. Countess is overperforming despite matchups, and Howitzer has settled into his safe, damage-heavy playstyle. Our big call-out is Gadget. She has had the biggest swing in statistical relevance in the mid lane. Because the bulk of her community is gold and silver, she is winning at a much higher percentage than normal, hovering around 54% win rate at these brackets. But as soon as you reach into the platinum and diamond, she begins to plateau into mediocrity. I would ignore this champion unless you're in silver or gold, and although I think she should be considered average at best, her stats have her hovering in the good category. So if you need a safer playstyle that focuses on wave pushing rather than kill pressure, you might be right up your alley in picking Gadget. Moving on to the carry role, we are highlighting the champion Sparrow. For multiple tier lists now, she has been statistically one of the most consistent top listers. With item changes, it only felt right to update the community on her top tier build and encourage people to play her due to her consistency. Viper is a must build item, contributing to attack speed, power, and pin. Corrode reduces armor, and Diligence increases on-hit damage. Pair this with the usual Stormbreaker, Sky Splitter, with the rework Demolisher, and you'll be all set when it comes to building Sparrow. Moving on to the list, you'll notice Murdoch has been adjusted down a notch. We'd like to blame Murdoch's movement speed decrease and his ult cooldown increase as the reason. When so many people are spamming the champion, your stats are bound to drop a little. Murdoch is still viable, but he may feel a little different to most if you're familiar with Murdoch. In A tier, Murdoch is being accompanied by some risers in Skylar, Yin, and Revenant, all of whom are trending up but have some nuance to navigate. Looking back at the S tier, you'll notice Drongo has taken the top spot. It was his consistency in the higher ranks that had him inch out Sparrow, and his peak at 58% win rate in Paragon is what broke the tie. But don't let that dissuade you from our featured carry, considering she leads most brackets in win rate marginally. Our biggest call out for carries is Kira. Physical power scaling decreased. This has really impacted her win rate, dropping her below 50% at all ranks. To note, even diamond players are struggling to operate the champion with as low as a 44% win rate, and it doesn't get better as you go higher or lower. Last but not least, we have the support role. And with the new support Morn dropping this patch, we have to feature him. To start off, Morn has not had a good debut in any role except support, to include jungle and offlane, where he has garnered a 46% win rate and a worse 30% win rate. As a support, he has debuted at roughly 50% in the gold and platinum range, but is sub 50% everywhere else. We are thinking it's due to champion mastery and people wanting to play him on mass because he's a new champion. But as of right now, you should dodge games when he's not being played in the support position. Moving on to his current core build, you should be using Hexbound Bracers, Dynamo, Galaxy Greaves, and Tainted Charm. Due to this combination having the highest degree of success, we will keep you posted if the build changes. Moving on to the tier list. Zinx and Muriel have taken the top spots, with average win rates being well over 50% mark, with Lieutenant Bellico rounding out the tier with a 53% win rate. Argus and Aurora are above average, with Decker holding the same win rate, but with more success in higher brackets. Steel, Morn, Grux, and FaZe, although have exceptions that may point out that they may be capable of more, are underperforming at all ranks. The worst win rate, sadly, includes Richter and Narbash. It's hard times for healers and skill-based champions. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. If you feel we missed something or your champion deserves a different spot, shout us out in the comment section. Tell us what we got wrong, what we got right. With only a week into the patch, it's kind of getting hard to navigate every champion. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, be blessed, be positive, and be safe. And until next time, peace.